Now, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge returned from their Caribbean tour yesterday, which has been criticised by some for being tone-deaf and having colonial undertones. In a frank statement, Prince William acknowledged the tour didn't perhaps go to plan, saying foreign tours are an opportunity to reflect and you learn so much. So, Kelly, what did you make? I know you've been watching this. What did you make of the tour, the images that you saw, and of Prince William reflecting on it now?
Well, firstly, I don't think William and Kate are responsible. I mean, a lot of their tours are organised by the Foreign Office, and so it's their responsibility to ensure that the tone of the tour was right, and I think they missed the mark on several occasions. I think what they didn't do is read the room. Post-BLM, we have definitely emerged as people who are looking at ourselves, reflecting and trying to do better. And I think that tour did none of that. It didn't reflect where we are now. It reflected where we were. So I think it's post-BLM, we needed to kind of see them differently, needed to feel different. You know, Jamaica at the moment as a country, I mean, the Prime Minister itself said, you know, slavery is abhorrent. And he himself, you know, focused upon that. I think it's really difficult to remove a stain. I know that he's called it a
William
stain.
did address that,
he
didn't he?
He did say that, but what we're looking for is an apology. And I know that there's a line about politics. We can't cross that line. They're royalty, etc., etc. But what I think is,
but royalty get criticised if they get involved with politics. So he couldn't personally apologise. He said,
OK, so let's forget about politics then. Forget about politics. Let's say what's right and wrong. Let's forget about politics, but what's right and wrong? Is slavery right or is it wrong? No, it's wrong. Right? And if we just had that admission of saying it's wrong and we're sorry for what happened, that's actually all we're looking for. Forget about any of the politics. It's this basic right and wrong. I think what Diana did with the children, William and Harry, is that she set them on a really good path. She showed them, you know, did her best to show them what real life was like, you know, centre point trips and things like that, to show them what real life was like. And she set those boys up on a path that we're starting to see now. And I think William, in saying what he said on reflection, I think it is the start of where things can change.
Well, he does say that he believes one day the Commonwealth may be led by someone other than a member of the royal family, so he has acknowledged that. Yeah. He said foreign tours are an opportunity to reflect. Yeah. You learn so much. So I think as a young royal, you know, he and Kate are looking to, it seems, to change.
And I think if anyone's going to lead the change, I think you're right, it would be Diana's sons from what she installed in both of them. And I think it's dangerous to fall into the trap and say, well, that's tradition, it's always been that way, so it should stay that way. I think you're right, BLM was a chance for us to say, actually, things need to change and things need to move forward. You don't just carry on doing something because you've always done it. You know, that's not
So do you not feel they have moved forward, then?
Not with this tour. This tour should have been an opportunity to build bridges. We know that there's tension in terms of Jamaica with their independence, and rightly so. And what he did say, which I thought was great, is that they are in charge of that decision. That should be made by the people, and they should make that decision.
But they also were received very well by a lot of people.
By a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Agreed, and it wasn't 100% all, you know,
It wasn't all negative.
It wasn't all negative.
I saw other people saying, we love having them here, and we love the royals, and we can't wait, and we're excited.
But I think it was just the way that it was done, like tonally, it was just off. And a lot of it, I felt really cringy watching it, you know, the moments where they were in the Jeep.
Yeah, so the Jeep, people said, well, that smacks of colonialism, that's two white privileged people being driven around by a black chauffeur. But then when you read about it, they say that the Land Rover, they were asked to be in that by a general who'd organised the parade, who said that they were very proud of the Land Rover because it was the original Land Rover that the Queen and Prince Philip were driven in 1994.
And a lovely nod to
and so they said it was a nod to the Queen's...
Lovely. Lovely, but if that had just been the one incident from the whole thing that we could have pointed question at, then fine. But also, the words that came out of his mouth were not, I'm sorry. We've got to, if we're going to move forward, we need to start at a place of accepting what happened, it was wrong, accepting that, apologising, and then moving forward from that. We all want to be able to...
Did he not say everything? Do you not feel he said everything he could apart from I am sorry? Because that can become a political statement, and as a member of the royal family, they're not supposed to be involved in politics.
I prefer what he said in reflection. because you could tell that as a couple, they didn't like what they saw.
Yeah.
And they were put in a position that's not their fault. Like I've said from the very beginning, this isn't these decisions weren't made by them. These tours are organised, you know, months and months in advance by what you would think a trusted organisation that are used to doing this.
But also from the people in the, you know, so the Foreign Office within Jamaica. So they're you know, it's both sides who help organise the tour, say when they're here they should do this. And the photographs of them shaking hands with children through that fence seem to be very misleading, because they said the fence has always been there and it's to protect the kids running into the road from the football pitch, and people were calling them over. If they hadn't have gone over, then they'd said, well, that smacks of colonialism, where they just wave at the children from a distance. So they were called over, they went over, and those pictures, which will always be there...
They can be explained away. I get it. It can be explained, and I didn't take any umbrage with that particular picture. But we're in new times, and we have to look at things differently now. We're all awakened to the wretchedness of our past. We have to accept what we've done.
So should royal tours just not happen? Are they pointless, do you think?
I think they've got to be done differently. They've got to be done with a meaning and a purpose, and there's got to be something that comes out of that tour, rather than parading around and shaking hands with people, where, you know, at the end of the day, our history is stained for a reason. Slavery was abhorrent. Slavery is still unfortunately still happening today, right? And we're dealing with the after effects of that. We're still not fully recovered from that. So we can't kind of shake hands with people and smile when we know how you've got there. You know, you're sitting there because of the privileges that you've had from your past and what you've stolen from a certain set of people.
But there were a lot of people, as we saw that, there were a lot of people who were shaking hands and wanted to shake hands and waved their flags and were very happy to have them there.
And I think that a lot of people were happy to have them there. But you also have to understand the history and the platform from whence it came, from where this started.